Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call to order a workshop meeting of the Board of Trustees of the McAllen Independent School District being held today, Monday, June the 11th, 2018, at the Boardroom Administration Building, 2000 North 23rd Street in McAllen, Texas. The first item on today's agenda would be the discussion of the 2018-2019 budget. At this point, I'll turn it over to Dr. Gonzalez. Dr. Gonzalez?
Yes, sir. Good morning, and I'll turn the floor over to our Assistant Superintendent for Business Operations, Ms. Flores.
Thank you, and good morning.
Good morning.
I have two topics that we're bringing forward today. First of all, we're going to cover the community conversation that we had regarding possible TRE. And then we're going to close the presentation with showing you all the updated and latest 18-19 proposed budget book. So we'll go ahead and get started. The district administration has started a community engagement campaign regarding the possible tax ratification election. We received the assistance of Community Information Department. They assisted us in getting the word out through social media and several of their other media outlets. And this chart indicates the different types of audience outreach that was received. Facebook and Instagram was over 70,000 audience outreach. On direct text, we had 27,000, 1,484 participants through an online thought exchange. And then some articles were published in the Monitor with 30,000 plus total reach. We also had multiple face-to-face community and staff meetings. And then there was e-newsletters that were sent out to over 27,000 individuals. On the face-to-face meetings, this is the schedule that we followed. Not only did we meet with community leaders, we also met with certain civic groups. We met with the various Rotary clubs in McAllen. We also met with the Chamber of Commerce board members. In addition to that, we also presented to the McAllen Citizen Leagues. We met with the various staff groups. Multiple times we did present to JPCC officers as well as their General Assembly. We also met with parents in we did multiple presentations through the superintendent's parent advisory meetings. And then the various groups of staff members presenting to the campus administration, counselors, nurses, principals, assistant principals, librarians, and facilities maintenance, transportation, food service, purchasing, and other administrative functions. So all in all, we were able to talk to quite a bit of people during these face-to-face meetings. We were also very fortunate that the McAllen Chamber of Commerce sent out a notice to all of their members where they were sharing the link to our online thought exchange and a little press release asking them to join in on the conversation. This is a summary of the online forum that we utilized. We utilized Thought Exchange, and we had over 1,400 individuals that participated. There was 1,395 actual thoughts that were shared, and then over almost 28,000 ratings assigned to those individual thoughts. The demographics are broken out in this chart. 70% of the individuals were staff members, while 22% were parent and guardian. We did not have a way to break apart how many staff members included are also parent as well, so the parent and guardian number is probably much larger than that. And then 4% were community members, and then another 4% identified themselves as other. We asked two very open-ended questions. The first one is, knowing that the total tax rate will remain the same, what are some perspectives we need to consider in planning for a possible tax ratification election? And then what are some of the things that are working well right now in our district, and where can we improve? And we did receive quite a bit of feedback on that. This chart identifies the number of thoughts for the different questions. You have Q1, which is of course the first question, the first column, and Q2, the second question. As you can see, the basic themes are compensation and benefits, transparency and communication, facilities and infrastructure, curriculum and quality education, impact on taxes, safety and security, financial management, quality teachers and staff, staff support and retention, and voter engagement. Those were the basic themes that were that appeared during the conversation. And then the colors, the darker the color, identifies the higher the number of thoughts in that category. And then this chart breaks down the conversation themes by demographics. And so if you want to know what was most important to parents or guardians, the darker blue is safety and security. Staff, of course, they had quite a bit of interest in just about every topic. And community members, they had more of an interest in compensation and benefits, safety and security, curriculum and quality of education. Okay. And then other was compensation and benefits. So this slide will, the next few slides will summarize or give examples of what the themes were about. For example, in compensation and benefits, we received a lot of feedback regarding improving the pay and compensation for teachers and staff. This was the largest topic in the entire conversation, an area for consideration when planning for a possible TRE, and also an area for improvement in the district. That was some of the feedback that we received. And then of course it was as I mentioned before, in community members, it was the area that received the highest rating. Voter engagement was another very important topic. It was a medium to large size conversation, and it talked about the need to continue with transparency and communication. The participants wanted to know details. They wanted it to be clear in a simplified manner that could be easily understood by the general public. Specifically, they wanted to know exactly where the funds would be allocated. Of course, be factual, always very specific with the communication, and then as well as providing it in Spanish. Some of the conversations were that they wanted to know, well, if we lose the funding, how is that going to affect certain areas? So this is an area that we can continue to explore in future communications. Participants responded that they wanted to recommend educating the community on the benefit of the TRE. How does that relate to students? The benefit to students. The learning environment, another mid-sized topic in the conversation was, recognizing that our facilities and infrastructure needs improvement. The participants wanted to see funds used to improve the facilities. And then they also talked about having equity across all schools in the district. Another topic of discussion was overcrowding at certain facilities, and some of that conversation was because of the need for portables in certain campuses, so that was a topic. So need to improve those facilities for potential growth. Safety and security, very important topic. Participants expressed the need to continue to improve that, and it was the most important topic to the parents. The learning environment is another very important conversation. We received positive feedback that parents or participants appreciate a well-rounded education that McAllen ISD is providing to the community. There was an underlying concern that participants want to ensure that students are not leaving the district for newer schools to offer possibly more programming options. So that was one of the comments.
Excuse me, Mr. President, if I may ask a question.
Yes, sir.
Did they give you any specific as to what programs the mayor wanted? Without mentioning, did they give you a list?
They did in the conversations, as far as they might have had a particular question or comment that related to that. But however, in another section, for example, in the district appreciations, the majority also responded that the district had a lot of a lot of options,
Okay,
so,
thank you. Please excuse you.
sure.
Thank you.
So this is some of the district appreciations that were received through the comments. First of all, great appreciation, a lot of comments regarding the teachers and staff, award-winning school districts, schools, the curriculum that provides many options and promotes well-rounded students. So this one, that was an overarching theme there. The district is doing very well academically and commended the district for the community collaboration. So this concludes this presentation. We will have a full report that will be made available to the Board of Trustees and the public that will provide, Mr. Saldivar, the actual comments, much like we do with the climate survey, that actually provides some of those individual comments. So we'll get that to you. However, because of we did extend the deadline for the responses, this did not allow the company enough time to produce that final report. So we'll have that for you shortly. And we do have another conversation that was going on simultaneously the last couple of weeks of school, and that was asking secondary students where they felt the district was doing great and where the district could improve. So I'll bring that back to you all as soon as we have those results compiled.
Outstanding. Thank you very much for all the time and effort you've put into it, you and your staff. It's really great. Good work product. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Garcia, for your presentation this morning. Anybody from the board have any questions or comments to address at this time?
Mr. President, if I may.
Please.
I did want to take this opportunity to thank Lorena and the staff for leading the thought exchange, and to thank all those that participated in the thought exchange, because it's given us valuable information and perspective that we can leverage moving forward. Also to all the community outreach that we did, and all the great feedback we got from all the different entities across the community. It meant a lot for us, for people to show up, but then to be engaged in those conversations. So thank you to all those out in the city, and thank you to all those that took part in the thought exchange, and thanks to the staff for making it happen.
Ms. Garcia, just a question, if I may. I know we put it out there, Twitter and Facebook and e-blasts and phone calls and campus level. What kind of response do we get in comparison to some of the other projects that we've done, try to get community information? Was it more or less in between or about the same?
Well, this was a completely different approach. One, we had the face-to-face, which I felt were extremely valuable because it gave us the opportunity to have a more extended dialogue. And then we also had the online forum, the thought exchange. So as far as I would have liked to have seen a little bit more participation on the parent or guardian, but part of that probably had to do with some of those numbers embedded in the staff. But we did receive, like I said, 1,484 participants. Not all of them shared thoughts, so that's why you see a fewer number in the thoughts. Some people went in to kind of, see what the conversation was about, but then they didn't leave a thought. But we did receive an overwhelming amount of actual ratings, almost 28,000 ratings. In comparison to maybe, let's say, the climate survey, Dr. Barrera, if I may ask you, what is the number of participants that you get on the climate survey?
Overall, we get in the excuse me. Overall, we get in the 70s, 73%. That's what we did this time. It's been off a little bit from year to year, but not by much.
Of what, like 1,600 employees or?
Close to 2,000.
2,000. Okay, so that would be a comparison. Now, this is the very first time that we've used this method, and we plan to use this thought exchange forum for multiple other initiatives. So I suspect that now that the community has gotten a hang of it, that we should see even more participation in the future.
Is the format appropriate for all information requests, or are you going to?
Yes, the powerful thing about the Thought Exchange platform is that it gives us opportunities to put out open-ended questions, and then it gives people opportunities to participate and answer. But the real power becomes when you can actually rate a thought. So I put a thought out, and then you see 27,000 people rated my thought, then it rises to the top. So those that are very popular rise to the top. So we know with certainty that staff compensation is something that's very important to our district because so many people agreed with that theme and that concept. So then we can leverage that moving forward. And the same is true for school safety and for every other aspect of academic performance and things of that sort. But that's what we like about it. There's a mechanism for rating thoughts, and those thoughts coming to the top, and then the opposite, those thoughts that weren't so popular came to the bottom. So we're being very strategic as we move forward.
Good. Anyone else? Questions, comments?
Well, Mr. President, I just reiterate what has been said, is that this is a very important tool, and I like the fact that there's personal discussions, and then there's bringing all the various segments of the community. I especially like the fact that our juniors and seniors are not being brought in. I'd like to see it at the college level at some point, because that shows you what our work product has done to prepare them for whatever endeavors they wish to do. So I'm glad they're being brought into the conversation as they were during the strategic plan. And this thought exchange, where I may not write anything down, but somebody else did, and I kind of agree with that, and I put a rating as I understand it. So I think that's a great multiplier in an exchange of a community's thoughts and ideas that you're clearly leveraging as we plan forward. So again, reiterate, Mr. President, and those thoughts, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And just a quick comment to you, Dr. Gonzalez. As a person who follows social media, because the kids and like to know what they're doing, right? They don't talk to parents. They put it on social media, though. I follow the McAllen ISD site, and your staff's done a great job with this. There's a lot of emails, a lot of links, stuff that as a parent, I would appreciate. So if there's anybody out there that wants more information on this, just follow it on Twitter or Facebook. There's tons of information. So great job. Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez, to you and your staff for
Absolutely, and I would like to thank Norma Zamora-Guerra. I see Jake and Juan out in the audience also. I know our Facebook is up close to 10,000 followers now, so that's almost triple what we had a year ago, and Twitter's the same. So we're very, very proud of the effort we're making on social media, and you're right, it's because of the team and all the work they're doing.
And just for the record, we didn't come up with these shirts. It was just too hot outside to wear a tie. So
I didn't get the memo, I'm sorry.
I didn't either. I wouldn't have worn them.
Black's a good color. Ms. Garcia, do you have any
Well,
further discussion?
we just to conclude with the fact that we plan to continue having these community conversations with staff. Now that the board has decided on what projects to proceed with, we plan to go back and update the community with that information and continue sharing our district successes.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia, for your presentation this morning. No other business on this meeting's agenda. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn this
Move to
meeting.
adjourn, second.
It's been moved and second that we adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion,
Excuse me,
We're closing the workshop.
the workshop.
excuse me, we did have the second item, which is
That's why,
the,
that's why I asked.
That's why I interrupted.
I'm so sorry. I thought you meant on that one topic.
Okay.
No, no.
I'm so sorry. I'll
We need to take our motion back. in second.
Very
Motion and
quick.
second taken back. There was
Yeah.
no vote on that. Your turn, Ms. Garcia.
Okay, okay. Sorry about that. Our next topic is the 18-19 budget. As you recall, in our last budget workshop, the budget book had been presented under the assumption of $1.04 maintenance and operation tax rate and 11.5 cents on the INS side. The budget book, once the board decided on the possible TRE projects, that information was incorporated and has been updated. And then some of the suggestions were incorporated that we received. For example, we did, in our multi-year forecast, we did include the membership on the bottom of the chart. So this is what it looks like now. And as you can see at the bottom, it does have that membership information. But now you have the TRE, the gain on the TRE, those fundings being allocated to capital outlay based on the projects that were specified. And then other uses, that the 7.8 million in the fiscal year 2019 proposed column, that would be the funding that would be then transferred to the M&O side. I'm sorry, to the debt service side. And then the subsequent years, you can see a projection on how the revenues will look based on the enrollment and revenue and property tax. collections. And as you can see, we now have a plan where you see payroll costs, we've estimated, I believe this is at 76.5% of payroll costs of total revenue. So we would be well below the 80%. And then we're keeping that as a threshold moving forward. That way we can ensure that the greater portion of the net gain on the tax swap will be used for capital outlay and other types of improvement projects, that we don't deviate from that. And the rest of the pages were updated as well. So this is the debt service fund forecast, again, that is under the assumption that the tax ratification election would be approved. So those are the changes. We will bring back, we will provide for approval, the 18-19 budget on June the 25th. We will provide at that time a hard copy of the book for the board so that you can have for use during the school year. So that concludes the presentation on the budget book, unless you all have any questions on that.
Any questions or comments from the board? From Ms. Garcia.
Mr. President, just thank you for including the membership. Really, I think that it really stands out now. So you understand the ADA in relationship to what. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Ms. Garcia?
Yes, sir.
I just had a comment in regards to the membership to Dr. Gonzalez. I think that 1 year when we went out as your team and part of the board members and we visited some people in the community, that was effective. In fact, one parent said that they stayed in the district after that meeting. And Lou has seen the members attach the budget, how important it is that we continue. If you plan on doing that again, and I know you have, you mentioned that before, I'm pretty sure the rest of the board will concur with me. How we can help you, please let us know. I think sometimes there's wrong information that's out there on what we're doing, or not the complete picture. So sometimes that one-on-one is helpful. So encourage you to continue to do that and let us know.
Yeah, yes, sir. And I do want to commend Student Support Services. I know that they've done a great job setting up camps at different events across
Absolutely.
the city. So they were at the boat show, they've been at different
Absolutely.
Palm Fest and things of that sort, so setting up shop and really trying to recruit kids and doing that sort of thing. But absolutely, we'd love to go out on neighborhood walks again to clarify some questions and point out some of the facts that we need people to understand with programs that we offer. I think that was a big part of what we learned, is that as we went out into communities, that there were some misconceptions about what we offered and what the competition offered, and we were able to clarify that. So that's something we want to do in a bigger way moving forward.
Even with graduations, so a high school senior, I was at a graduation party over the weekend, said that your staff was on them because they had not completed their financial aid.
Yes.
And they hadn't turned in an application for college. He said, sir, they would not leave me alone. I said, well, did you do it? Well, yes. Did you get admitted? Yes. Did you have your financial? Yes. Well, it worked. And so your staff is really pushing for, if every child wants to go to college. I know we have a neighboring charter school that says that every one of their kids go to college, they have 100%. It sounds like to me is that you're pushing for that, and then when it's appropriate, you're pushing for a child to go to a trade school or enlist in the armed services wherever it's appropriate. So I think that information needs to be out, because I didn't realize how from your staff was being that aggressive with our students.
Well, I want to emphasize that it's really a team and the board establishing the standard for comprehensive advisement and making sure that we're a district of choice and making sure that we did push and push hard, because in the end, we're pushing because we care about every kid, regardless of what their dream is. And that's because of the direction of this board and the relentless attitude that we have as a staff to make things happen. So it's a team effort, but the staff's doing a heck of a job, and we're going to keep getting better.
And it relates to the budget, because I do think that the students will come back, or we're not losing as many as we had in the past couple of years, but with a little bit more effort, I think we can retain some of them. So that's all I had, Mr. President.
Appreciate that. Trustee Alvarado, anyone else have any questions or comments? Thank you all. Thank you, Ms. Garcia, for your presentation this afternoon. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn the workshop meeting.
Second.
Been moved by Trustee Suarez and the second by Trustee Saldivar. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Farina. But quit moving around, you're making me dizzy looking at this. At 11:56, our workshop meeting has been adjourned. In a few minutes, we'll be opening up our special meeting of the board.